This is a live streaming trial of amateur radio on International Space Station. International Space Station is passing in this region starting from 1:47 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and that is obtained from n2yo.com. That's a website which shows the pass. It's an eastern pass from my location, and currently I am only streaming this radio. This is ICOM IC2730A full duplex radio. This is the uplink frequency on which we access the repeater, and this is the downlink frequency where we receive the radio. And I have kept this side, the squelch has been opened, the hissing sound. This side I have muted the speaker so nothing will be heard from this side. This is the main side, which is the uplink. This is the downlink. And I keep the tone also. For uplink there is a tone required, R tone. That is 67 Hertz CTCSS tone is required for access to the International Space Station amateur radio repeater, crossband repeater. Uplink on VHF, downlink on UHF, ultra high frequency. So we are back on that frequency. We are waiting. I am using a very limited setup. I have a fixed elevation azimuth Moxon Yagi with a Moxon element which is a reflector and a driven element for VHF. That's the minimum, only 2 elements. And for UHF, ultra high frequency, there are 5 elements which are passively coupled. There is no connection between these two. We are waiting for the pass of International Space Station to start. It's already 47, but now I will not be receiving because my setup is limited and only high elevation passes when the satellite is near to me will be heard usually. So we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, I am configuring the setup here because I have to have the streams running. The live stream is being set up here. I have not heard anything in the radio so far. Another factor is that you have to change the frequency for Doppler correction. The nominal frequency is 437.800. I have kept it at a little higher. That is for the Doppler. And as the pass, something is heard. Some change in the hissing sound means you are getting the signal somewhere. Already 2 minutes into the pass. You should be lucky to have a good signal because this is noon on a working day. There won't be many people trying to access the repeater in this location because first of all we have only very few amateur radio operators compared to countries like the United States and Japan, and secondly satellite operators are very much low, very handful only. So don't be surprised if you don't hear anybody at all. That's only natural. Anyway, I'm just waiting. It's already 3 minutes into the pass, so I'll just reduce the frequency a little bit. By 5 kilohertz I have reduced the frequency. Yes, some signal is being acquired. You heard somebody call. But that was not very clear here. That is better.
Thank you, Lucky. 73, bye-bye.
So that
Good to hear you, ISS. Bye-bye. Thank you, bye-bye.
that was the last. VU3 YFD, VU2 Juliet Oscar calling. Roger, VU3 YFD, VU2 J 5 and 9. Thank you. VU2 Lima Bravo Whiskey, VU2 Juliet Oscar. Good afternoon. Glad to be on satellite after a long gap. Thank you. That. VU2 GRM, VU2 Juliet Oscar. I heard VU2 GRM also. Most probably the satellite is now beyond the direction of my antenna.
Satellite 3 Yankee Foxtrot Delta. See you on ISS.
Now it is 13:55. The pass should be almost over. Satellite will be near setting. So I am not likely to hear anything. But you heard people like VU3 YFD, VU2 GRM, and VU2 Lima Bravo Whiskey, VU2 LBW. VU2 LBW has the best setup, and you can access from horizon to horizon because it's a dual band Yagi with multiple elements for VHF and UHF phasing, and an excellent radio ICOM 9700 with rotator, antenna rotator having position for that is, it can rotate in azimuth as well as elevation. So the antenna will continuously track according to the software, and that will be an excellent setup. VU3 YFD has a handheld setup. He uses handies and antennas and manually points from outside in the direction of the pass using apps like ISS detector, which will show you exactly in which direction the satellite is passing. VU2 GRM also, I think he's operating from inside, not from outside the shack. But he also has a good setup. I heard him, but unfortunately my call didn't reach him because you have a lot of limitations using a fixed elevation azimuth antenna. You can get only good passes, and that too when the satellite is very near you. The usual pass of the satellite is 10 minutes in this region, and out of the 10 minutes, I'll be able to hear something roughly around 5 to 6 minutes. That's what you have heard. In the beginning, you did not hear anything, and at the end also, it was not audible. In the middle of the pass, when the satellite was nearby, maybe about 600 kilometers away, we would have heard. This was not a very high elevation pass. I'll tell you how much the elevation is. The pass had a maximum elevation of only 47 degrees. It's not an overhead pass. So 47 degree means it's not a very high pass. Still, it was good. The elevation, the satellite passes has an altitude of around 420 kilometers. But when it is at less elevation, the distance from my antenna to the radio will be much more. So you should imagine that using a simple radio to contact International Space Station, which is located much high up. And our friend VU3 Yankee Foxtrot Delta is using handheld radio with very little power. And if you try to contact such distances on the ground, it is impossible because line of sight communication means around after 40 miles or so, you will lose propagation on VHF and HF. But as the satellite is above, there is nothing interfering in between. There is actually line of sight communication. The longest distance which I have been able to contact with this setup is 1 or 2 contacts in Thailand and 1 contact in New Delhi. New Delhi, not 1 contact, several times, same station I have contacted. That is my personal distance record. But others have contacted much longer distance. Even with similar setup, VU3YFD has contacted a long distance. He has worked a lot of Indonesian stations and many other. So it's a very thrilling hobby, and it's very exciting because you don't know which satellite you will get at what time, because you can get the timings from the app or n2wire.com, but whether you will be able to get through is a different thing. I was not able to get through recently. Earlier I used to work a lot. Recently I had a problem with my Moxon Yagi and serviced it. Then I had a problem with my radio. The mic was not working because the connection cable was frayed. I loaned a cable from VU to Foxtrot Whiskey VU to FWW from my region, and it was that cable which gave me success during this live streaming trial. And live streaming is another tough job because everything is going on live. You have no chance of rectification during the process. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll try another live stream sometime later when there is a good pass of International Space Station. Hope I have been able to generate some interest in satellite operations. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. This is VU2JO signing off.